Low battery.
There we go. Maureen, you're on and it says that you're trying to join. I don't know.
I think she's already joined.
Yeah, she is.
Because we can hear you.
Well, we could see you. And hear you too.
There you are. Can you see me? Can you see me now?
We saw,
Yeah.
yeah, we've been seeing you.
Okay.
Now
There
we hear you.
But it just my screen is saying that you're joining, you're trying to join.
Must
So
be
how
that
you doing, Mary?
There it is. I had to get myself on again. I'm good. Thank you.
That is so great. Well, good morning, and for some of you, good evening. Late evening. Are you back in Paris, or are you still in the US?
I'm still in the US with a bad cold.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry?
Yeah, sorry.
No problem.
How's your mom?
She's doing okay.
All right.
She's doing okay.
Mary, we got pretty much the same color top today. It's close. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. We have quite a few members who wanted to be on the call, but they're workshops and speaking and doing other things today. So they said hello, and I'm not gonna go through the whole name, but so our word today is Ubuntu. I said it right, Ubuntu.
Ooh.
I didn't say it.
Ubuntu.
Thought
it was
Ubuntu.
Thought it was Ubuntu.
Yes.
Yes.
Does anyone speak any African languages? No. Denise, you?
No.
I know you stayed in Africa,
But
lived there
it
for a
was
while.
way on the other side of the continent. Very different languages.
Yeah, I know yeah, I know they have different languages. I've been there, and they're very protective of their tribes and their language and their traditions.
But it's Swahili, no?
No, it's Nguni Bantu.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So we'll learning this word, which speaks to all of you. Connie is the one found the word, and it was dear to her heart, and I said, well, that's all of our members. And so, Mariam, would you say what the meaning of the word is?
Yes, Ubuntu is derived from the Nguni Bantu language and is often translated as humanity. It is a philosophy and an ethical concept that promotes the idea of interconnectedness and the belief that the well-being of an individual is dependent upon the well-being of the community.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I can insert something, in the picture, we had a picture of these little children surrounding this photographer. And what he said was, if I have some fruit in this bucket over there, the first one to get there gets to have all the fruit. And so the children held hands and walked over, and they explained to him, if only one person is helped, all the rest of them will feel sad. So we want everyone to have fruit.
Love it.
So that was why I love that word so much, because this is Mandela also. That was a very popular word in South Africa, and it is spread worldwide.
That's awesome. Thank you for
Say,
sharing.
say it again. Say, pronounce it again.
Ubuntu.
Wait, one person.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Connie.
Ubuntu. Ubuntu. It doesn't matter.
Ubuntu.
It's
It sounds
the
like you're
concept.
saying, it sounds like you're saying Ubuntu. Or you're
Un.
saying,
Ooh.
It's ooh.
Ooh.
yeah, Ubuntu.
Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ubuntu. Okay. Just, I was hearing, I mean, that's how I'd been saying it ever since I read that. But this, just now on here, I was hearing an N sound at the beginning. So I wanted to be clear. Thank you.
Yeah, there is a word where it derived from. Maybe that's what you were hearing. The name of the new Ubuntu.
Ubuntu? What is Ubuntu?
There is no
That
Ubuntu.
No.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
No Ubuntu.
yeah, the place that it's from. I just looked it up. We were pronouncing it earlier, Marion.
I put it in the chat window for everyone to see.
Yeah, it's where it's from. It's NGUNIBANTU.
Nguni Bantu.
Yes,
Yeah,
Am I
Nguni
saying that?
Bantu.
right.
Yeah.
It's an ethnic group.
Yes.
The Bantu people, but there's different ethnic groups within the Bantu people.
Wow. So amazing. Well, before we get started on the word, let me just acknowledge who's on the call today, and thank you so much, everyone. We have Marion going according to my screen. Everyone knows Marion, who does the writing of the story and the logos, and she's designing Dr. Honeycutt's third book. She designed the other two, the covers, and she's done marketing for Fortune 100 and 500 companies. So we're happy to have her. Really good at editing and loves it.
Great. Beautiful.
It's just so amazing. I know I share this on the call all the time, but I don't care how sick Marion could be, feeling like she's half dead and throwing up, and she'll answer the phone. It's just so amazing to me. No matter what's going on. Oh, and
It's got to
then
be part of marketing. I don't know.
yeah, maybe so.
Yeah.
And then we have Mary, who's not always on the call, but we love when you are. Mary has such a big heart, and she was also selected last year, I believe, to work with the governor of North Carolina. Okay, we can't hear you.
North Carolina Aging Services,
Yes.
Aging Council.
Yes, and she has a high-end online magazine that bring top people together from around the world. And I've mentioned that to most of you who's on the call knows about that. I just think it's so remarkable. And she's so at ease with doing it. And when I saw you looked at her website and said she's interviewing a queen over here and an ambassador over there, and those are her friends. And it's just amazing how she connect people who's making a difference with each other around the world. I just truly love what you do. And it's just natural. When you start talking, she start looking at who she connect you with. So it's just a natural, innate gift. She has her pen.
Me too.
Yes, yeah. When you can, Mary, text me your address too. I know I have it, but I don't want to look it up. So then we have Miss Maureen, who's one of our newer members. She's been a member for a few months. And Maureen is in Pennsylvania. And her son is in Las Vegas, and they have projects in Las Vegas. And she works with homelessness and human trafficking. And her her heart for people, she goes out and she finds all the resources that the homeless people needs. Did you Mary, did you meet Maureen on another call?
I don't think like a formal discussion, I've seen Mary on the call, but we really haven't like personally connected.
Okay, I want to personally connect the two of you too.
Thank you.
Yeah, she does some amazing work. You can hear her heart in helping the homeless to be whole and complete, not just feeding, like the saying goes, give them a fish. But she's teaching. If you give them a fish, you feed them for a day. Yes. Well, she's not doing that. She's working on them to have a
Yeah, and really tried to make more connections between Pennsylvania and Nevada, and just really I'm finding out more and more about some just amazing programs and initiatives that are out there. So I'm working really hard to get people connected. And it's just overwhelming, all the good that is out there. But I think, trying to get the word out about the good that is going on, that's just something I feel strongly about too. So I'm really excited. So I'm kind of Erie, running my homeless shelter here in Erie, and then getting connected with more and more programs and services in Las Vegas, which, really that's kind of its own little incubator of the world too. So it's very exciting.
yeah. That is so great. Thank you so much for all the work you're doing. And Maureen is also looking at doing one of, I don't know why I sound like an echo. Do I sound like an echo to all of you?
Yep.
You did for a
You
minute.
did for a minute.
Yeah, it did for a minute.
I don't know what that is.
You're okay now.
Hopefully it's gone. Okay. Maureen is looking at doing one of our events in Las Vegas on either human trafficking or homelessness. So we are going back to doing live events. It's our first after COVID is in July 26th in San Francisco. And that one is going to be on education. So all of our events going forward will be on one of the 5 areas that we chose to work with the United Nations and bring whatever we get into our project in New Orleans, which is going really well. I'm just blown away about what we're doing in New Orleans. So all of the events will be to assist, example, everyone that's coming for education to work on the program that we're putting in New Orleans with their input, and also that their projects are impacted with connections and information and resources. So, and the goal is that once we get New Orleans pretty solid with our programs, we'll then take that to the White House and help them with what they're doing, messing up, because we are the experts in working with people. That's what we do every day, even with our families. It's just you are the chosen ones. I told you, ladies, we got to go get that long matrix coat and the sunshades. So we're looking at doing events 4 to 5 this year. Education in San Francisco, New Orleans, reducing recidivism, with the working with the sheriff office. Houston, we haven't decided yet which one we're going to do in Houston, but we are looking at doing the events in Houston. And next year we may be able to get back over to Paris and do an event. So, but we'll see. And the end of next year, we're doing our conference. Not this year, the end of 2025. We're all in New Orleans. Okay, so sorry, I talked too long. I was getting excited. So then we have Irma, and Irma is visiting the US with her mom and family, and she lives in Patty. She also she has a consulting business that she works with world leaders on humanity issues, and was very involved during COVID with world leaders. And she's retired from UNICEF. And she's just got a big heart, and she has a big laugh. I love to see her laugh too. She's doing quite a bit. And thank you for being, part of PWIC, all of you. And Connie is in Florida working with the veterans and homelessness and education and all of that. But we'll hear more from Connie in a little bit, because she's gonna she wrote the article this time, and we'll come back to you, Connie. And then we have Joanne, who I'm pretty sure everyone knows Joanne. She sends out the cards to everyone and make calls. And Joanne wrote the book on forgiveness that's endorsed by Desmond Tutu, as I'm sure you all remember. Then we have Denise Strong, Dr. Denise in New Orleans. And Denise has a company working on inequality, which is one of the 5 areas that we chose to work with the UN. And she's retired from UNO as a professor and administrator. And she also works with and support nonprofit causes. And she's one of the key people in with our New Orleans project there. She working with the kids in the school. We have 25 kids at the school working with those, and in the sheriff office and all of the other areas, the streets. Got a lot of places, a lot of things we're doing in New Orleans. She's one of the key leaders there. So
Hey, I need to say something.
yes.
I just got a text from a text call from Robin Ty. She
Yes.
says she's trying to register for the call. She's been trying for the last 30 minutes, and the link sent will not come up on her phone. And could someone contact her and help her with it?
Yeah, I'll send her the link. I'll send it to her. I'll send it by phone.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Joanne.
Yes.
Okay, so Connie, you want to just tell a little bit, just a few minutes, of why you wrote the story, why you chose the word, and then get into what you wrote about yourself in the story. Share about that in your projects.
Well, thank you, everybody. I love this group because we have humanity as a goal. We're humanitarian leaders, and that's the very basic thing that Ubuntu is all about. And if you have heard the word ohana in Hawaii, that's similar. And I don't know if anybody knows about what the meaning of ohana is, but that they feel that this one tree, the roots go so far away, and their feeling is that no matter how far the roots go, they all go back to the tree, which means everyone is family. And so this is what I feel like when I'm on the call here. Our organization, Green Vistas Veterans Village, we're trying to start with ending homelessness for the veterans. We have 125,000 veterans in the area. So this is a really good place to start and gather support. But it's a holistic eco village of smart homes that will be in the woods, all brain-based, all based on Blue Zone principles, and aligned with all the goals of the United Nations the goals of that they're supposed to reach by 2030, I believe. We have 16 of the 17. But the program will have shipping containers, containers that are fireproof and hurricane proof. There are 11 million of them. We're trying to get the Department of Defense to help because they are literally taking them from Jacksonville from Texas to Jacksonville to melt down. They have so many. We want to help with mental health, mental wellness. So we're developing an app in these smart homes that when a veteran is triggered by panic attack, depression, anxiety, suicide ideation, it will immediately respond in a sound wave. The sound wave might be binary, it might be a nature sound, it might be special music they've selected. It'll be individualized. Everybody needs a safe home. They need to have food security. We'll have a shipping container farm. They can grow food 3 times faster, 10% of the water, no pesticides, and run it with a smartphone, except for harvesting and adding minerals. Whatever they don't use, they donate to food pantries. Everyone needs to feel needed. And that's why these veterans stepped up, and we want to step up and help them. But they do need to feel needed, and this is one of the ways they can feel needed. We have several other ways, but every single thing that we devise or design is brain-based. And so that is one of our key things. But after we finish, we have so many veterans they have literally in all the counties around us, they have entire wings of the jail just for veterans. Many of them they're not killing people, but they are traumatized, and they try to get them off the streets. Well, we want them to have a home. And from my story, I explained how this has been, I was very fortunate finally to get a forever home when I was 8, and we adopted 2 children from Romania. And that was a story of not just survival, not just thriving and surviving, but to do things that you would not believe. The school district that said our son was too brain damaged to ever learn to read, he now oversees 6 schools in the district office for IT, and he's helping deliver work on the app. 5 of his buddies had committed suicide since returning home, and he also has post-traumatic stress and things from the burn pits and IEDs. So what we want to do is help them first and show people there are simple solutions. It's not rocket science. But speaking of rocket science, a little bragging here. 3 months ago, my son was invited to NASA to interview for the Artemis project. This little boy at 5.5 was on the 1% growth of a child in the United States with needle mark scars all over his legs from being tranquilized. And today they wanted him on the Artemis project, gave him a beautiful tour of it, and they loved him. There was one thing that whatever they call it, that he didn't know how to do. They gave him the program and said, you study this, you come back and interview, and we want to see you again. So I'm telling you, there is absolutely so much, all of this, the failure to thrive, attachment, all these things. And then some of these kids that are going over and joining the service, they're doing it because they really have never had a forever home. And so we want to give them a forever home, a permanent housing. And also, we also think that there's one thing that I can I can't even think of the word. I'm so excited. I want to show people it's the brain. Everything is the brain. The reason my son went from when they said our son was too brain damaged to learn to read, they testified at a due process hearing. This was so we sold our house and we put him in the only school that would take him on probation. He went from he was in fourth grade when he entered public school. He went back to first grade in 2 years. Well, in this other school, he went from first to 10th grade level reading in 2.5 years and skipped a grade. Now they had great program. They had speech therapy. I had all this individual, but that isn't what helped him the most. They said, "You're from Florida. Everybody here has to have a sport. You're taking swimming." And he swam 3 hours a day, 6 days a week. That connected the neurotransmitter of the brain. That what those they doing on a Romanian orphanage, they do not crawl. They rock back and forth. That's all they do. And they suck their thumb. And my son did not know how to play with a toy. He only knew how to march, salute, and clean. That's all he knew how to do. He doesn't know. He is doing pretty well now. And so we know that if we get the help we need, we know we can, with 11 million shipping containers available, not counting the military, we know we can end homelessness. We can help with mental wellness. I'm an expert on shipping containers. I just know we just need the help, but we have a great start. And I really, I'm so pleased to be around such visionaries and humanitarians from this group. Sorry if I got a little excited.
No, it's okay.
That's
You did
great.
really
That's
well.
great.
That's really great.
Beautiful.
We heard your passion and
Well,
what you've done.
the next piece, after we finish with the veterans, we're going to help seniors. Like we're going to have a compassionate dog sanctuary. Many seniors around here, they'll go in the hospital and they get extended. Well, they have no family to watch their pets. Some of them don't make it. So the veterans can help with the compassionate dog thing. But the thing also, we want to help seniors. They've been asking us for the village now. So it's community, it's connection, it's they got your back. And that's the whole message of the military. We got your back, but not everyone.
Yeah, so you get out
when they return. If you didn't have family before you and support before you went over there, don't expect it when you get back.
Yeah.
I'm saying that some don't get it when they get back. All right.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Connie. That was remarkable.
Can I just mention something real quick, and then we could always add to it at another time, because I just think everything Connie's doing, everything that we're all talking about could be its own 2-hour call, just concentrating on the specific topics. But there is a program, and it's called Team Rubicon, and that's how that was started by a Marine sniper. He came back, he did okay, but his best friend ended up committing suicide from post-traumatic stress. So he founded this organization called Team Rubicon. They go all over the world. What they did is they first responded to the earthquake in Haiti. And his name is Jake Woods. And, he just on his own got some friends that were used to doing this kind of thing. And they went to Haiti, helped down there. And then from there, they just grew into the organization that they are now. But they go all over responding to disasters. But who they use are veterans, because again, what they found is just what you had mentioned before, the connectedness, and people, they had to feel important. They had to feel like they had a purpose. And,
Yeah.
you know, that was the whole idea of this. It's a volunteer group, but they go all over the world to help. And again, I think at some point connecting, having this conversation with them, Connie, in helping to develop, you know, what you're doing down there is an absolute fit. Just on a
And
side note, I mean, they're amazing. They go all over and respond to natural
I'll
disasters.
check them for sure.
Yeah.
But one of us, we're all volunteers, accountant, website. We're all volunteers and vets fostering success. And we just using technology and brain research, every single facet of this program has research and brain. I've worked in newspapers and publishing companies, and I was chair of the Soil and Water Conservation Board. I care about the environment too, and I just feel like we have to solve a lot of problems, but it doesn't have to be just this or that. They're
It's
all
all connected, right? All connected.
but showing how veterans can do it,
Yeah,
because that grant, you know, that gets attention, and also
exactly.
they need it. It's
Mhm.
tragic when they're not getting the help they need. But anyway, I don't want to take up too much time.
No,
Yeah,
it's all very good.
that's really great. Thank you, Maureen, for your input too. I do have a question before we go around and get input from everyone. Connie's working on a grant. We have a member that can help her. However, that member is really tied down into a major project. And I don't know when she'll be able to help her. So she need help with the budgeting part. Does anyone have like a spreadsheet, a formula for inputting the budget
I
on
have
a large
Spreadsheet
scale?
now.
You
I
have-
just have someone in construction to help with some of the other things. Right now, if we get this $400,000 grant partnering with a city, or they believe in it, if we get that, and we get 28 containers from the Department of Defense, then that cuts the cost down. And shipping containers are not that expensive, and for every one we use, it saves 9.7 tons of carbon from being released into the atmosphere by not chopping down a tree that took 20 to 25 trees that took 30 years to grow in the Amazon. So this is all related. We're helping humans, but we're helping the planet too.
Okay, so
Connie, I have a
Go ahead.
spreadsheet on grants. Yeah, I do.
Super. Yeah.
I have them like government grants, all different kinds, foundation grants, and it's pretty much the same format. So I would be happy to share that with you. And then when you look at it, if you want to do a call like this, and we could look at what your numbers look like, where should they go? What do you
Thank
show?
you.
Because you have to show like a column with, okay, what are you going to put into it? What's your in kind? And I'd be happy to just do that. So I'll email that to you.
Well,
You can
if
look at
read
it.
the story, if anybody read the story on that I had on Ubuntu, I believe I mentioned that I flunked first grade because I couldn't read and I could not do math. Well, I do read now. I mean, I ended up being a reading editor for Harcourt Brace, but my math is I'm so right brained. So if you
I love that. I
someone that
love
can
it.
help with that part,
Yeah. Okay. I'll send you one that's filled in from something I did that's for a federal grant, and then you can look at it, and then we can plug your numbers in and see what we come up with.
thank you. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
And if you know anybody that's in construction, I had an engineer from Disney that would help with the first numbers, but he is no longer available. And we know prices have gone up, and they were very generalized. So if you know someone that's done this before, that would be help too. I'm reaching out to groups because I know insulation's gone up and definitely need insulation. So, and solar and the off grid and the other things. So
Okay,
thank you.
all right, we'll be looking for that too. To help you. That's
Thank you.
awesome, Connie, and it's awesome the kind of work that you're doing. So thank you for doing that. So
Thank
the
you.
word,
Connie,
yeah,
that
the
could-
word, go ahead.
That could be a discussion with Team Rubicon too.
Okay, that would be,
I can reach out to them too.
yeah, because, you know, a lot of people are doing this. They're fixing their own
Yeah.
shipping container homes. If we get a bunch of, you know, from the Rubicon that would love to help build this, and the iron workers, they are also very interested in training. The welders are interested in training, and they're already started hiring veterans because of our program to train
Wow.
welding, so they walk out with a $60,000 or $90,000 career.
And you know, when you write that into a grant, people love to see that this is kind of a train the trainer. You're doing job development and workforce development. So that can all be written in and be very powerful.
That's fantastic. Oh my gosh, this is wonderful. Thank you.
Welcome to my world.
That's so great. Well, the two of you have each other's number and contact.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm
That's
interested
great.
in talking with Mary too, if possible.
Yeah.
Mary, sounds like you have a lot of some different things. I know there's other
I
people
want to
that
show
have,
you something. I'm wearing Rotary clothes today because we did, I don't know if you can see it or not. Anyway, we had a work day this morning. Wherever there's a Rotary in your area, there is money in Rotary for things like what you're talking about. And I know because I'm on the funding committee at my Rotary. So
that
and
Deborah,
it's not, yeah, it's
said-
not just local. There is international Rotary that we have
Yeah.
used money, pools of money to do projects. We're doing one right now in Mexico. Just our Rotary Club with another club in Mexico. It takes one in both areas to
wow.
get together, and we usually do a matching thing. And I think we're probably going to do something close to $40,000 or $50,000
Wow.
to help out a few schools. And so I used International Rotary with another one to do a project in Malawi that we bought a motorboat for, you know, an area in Malawi. So it can be done. It just, you know, you just gotta, you know who to contact or whatever. So I just
The
throw that
connection.
out.
Well, that's how we found the $400,000 grant, because our secretary of our board member goes to the Rotary, and they're the ones, when they heard about this, and the state of Florida just passed a law which was signed and will go into effect in October. And there's not going to be any public sleeping on the sidewalks. That I don't know if they plan on filling the jails, but anyway, they are full. But but the thing is that they have water and restrooms in a place where the tourists can't see them. Well, every single city, county, and town in Florida is going to be going crazy at the end of October trying to implement this.
So you have a response to that. So if they
Yes.
would just support your efforts, you've got the solution.
Yep. And thousands and thousands of shipping containers in the city of Jacksonville, Florida.
Did I hear you say you're using solar? Did you tell me something? Did I hear you say something about solar panels or something?
Yeah, we're going to have solar, and we're going to have if we need to, we'll have it off grid also.
Okay.
We are not taking them out of the woods because that helps the brain so much. And we did, they will see either a pond or the wood forest. But in Palm Bay, where they're very interested in this lady who's a real jumped up. That's all right. I know landscaping. We'll put in some trees. We'll get you your trees.
Okay. All right. Another source for funding that you probably hadn't thought about, or maybe you had, I don't know, carbon credits, is if you're going to plant
Yes.
trees and if you're going to use solar, I have an expert that in my network that I have shopped around to. I don't know how many people. She is so wonderful. She is with a carbon marketplace. They don't get anything up front. They just get a little commission off the end of it if you get to sell your carbon credits. She'll walk you through the process. But you can actually do carbon credit forwards where you can, if you get it certified, get your project certified in advance, you can go ahead and pre-sell your credits, and that will help pay for some of your project, if not all of your project. I've got her in front of a real estate developer now in Texas that's going to be using solar with his development, and they're in serious conversations at this point. So depending on how that works, if you want to talk to her, let me know, Connie, and I'll hook you up with her. Her name is Tiffany. She's wonderful. But she's really knowledgeable about all aspects of it.
Well, they have so much that they have acres and acres of woods right near the airport at Lake Nona and the VA center. And this would be the ideal spot for them. And everywhere in Florida, you can have ponds because of drainage, etc. And so this would be perfect for that, the carbon credits.
Yes. So it's just wherever you're, wherever you can get rid of the emissions and stuff like that. But it sounds like if you're using solar and you're going to be able to do any other kind of planting or anything and especially if you're using the recycled, what did you say?
Shipping containers.
Shipping containers. Yeah. I mean, really, you might be, if you're taking those and reusing those circular economy type of thing, that might count too. So anyway, if you want to talk to her, just let me know.
All right. Thank you so much. I don't want to take everybody's time up, but I thank you. Anybody wants to join us, please, as an ambassador or whatever, we would love it, because it takes a village, a community to build a village, especially hundreds.
Yes.
Yeah, and that could be the pilot for so many other places, because we're also looking in Las Vegas to do development for homeless and veterans, exactly the same thing. So
and we make them look like the we can make them look like the area, like in New Orleans. I know that would be perfect for there, but I've seen shipping container boathouses, I've seen shipping container swimming pools, I've seen every kind of shipping container project there is. And so we can fix it to make it absolutely perfect. For us, we might make them look like cabins.
Wow.
You can change it to your environment and your guests.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Excited.
Great. Well, that's great.
And
great feedback.
$30,000 to $40,000, and you have a forever home.
Yes.
And they don't have to leave. It's their gonna home. When I moved in here, I thought I was gonna be here a year. That was 24 years ago. You never know. Give them a home. They don't have to rush. You don't have to fix everybody. And also we have a support team that will advocate for any veteran anywhere to help them get their benefits at the VA. They cannot even, some of them can't even walk into the VA. They're too traumatized. We will be going to court for them.
That's so great. Thank you so much, Connie.
All right. Thank you. Everybody needs some hope, right?
Yeah. So our word is Ubuntu.
You can sound it anywhere you want. Ubuntu. I say it.
Demonstrated that, didn't we?
Yeah, we all did. Yes. Yes. So I'm gonna call on Maureen first. The word, and just how do you see what you're doing using that word, using humanitarian, being inspired to help humanity?
Well, when I read the article, I take notes and then I reference other things, but I get so into this. But I mean, taking it to a very basic level, at the end of the day, when they talk about humanity, it is really about having the emotional intelligence to be able to make somebody else feel acknowledged And I think that, what Connie's looking to do, what you're looking to do in New Orleans, all we're trying to do is make people feel like that they have a purpose and acknowledge them. And it's really really comes down to just human kindness. And that's everything everyone's trying to do here. That really comes down to that. And you're really acknowledging their humanness. And,
Yeah.
just on a very small scale, the homeless shelter that I run here is, I'm sure we're exactly this. I was just out in Vegas and visiting, out there, the shelters and, the people that are living under the bridges and in the tunnels, and, met with the people out there that are doing programs to help them. It's called Shine the Light. And, you can it's the same people, the same stories, and their same experiences. But the whole idea is that they just feel, if you start to talk to them and you meet them as a person, and you kind of, symbolically brush the hair back and things like that, and really look at somebody and you acknowledge their humanity. First of all, like at our shelter, people are so surprised. First of all, you take the time to talk to them because they're just not used to that. And then you can see it takes a little while to kind of, that gain their trust. And then they start saying hi a little bit more and opening up and sharing their stories. And, then that's how you find out what their needs are, how you can help them, what services they need, get them connected to things. But it takes a bit of a while to kind of gain that confidence. But all you're really doing is just showing them human kindness. And I think that's the basis of so many of the things we've talked about today.
That's awesome. Thank you. That was great input. Denise, are you able to talk?
I think I'm muted. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So how does that word look to you on with you making a difference in humanity?
Okay. Could you say again?
I said the word Ubuntu. How does that word look to you with your projects, or with who you are and what you've been doing in human?
Yeah. Well, I
Making a
think
difference in humanity.
the work around diversity, equity, and inclusion is based on the premise that the humanity of all people is to be honored, recognized, respected, and embraced, so that humanity is not limited to any one group of people based on physical characteristics or income or anything, or any kind of arbitrary distinctions between and amongst people. And what I would say is that our embrace of the humanity of all people is the foundation of the work around diversity, equity, and inclusion. That actually is what fuels us. And that we know that the other thing about being human is that it's sometimes easy to forget that. And so that we bring ourselves forward, like through conversations like this, through training and through ongoing development, because our first inclination may not be to honor the humanity of all people. When I remember creating a possibility when I first did the work, did the Landmark Forum, and we created ourselves as a possibility. And I created myself as the possibility of the worth and dignity of all people. And then somewhere along the line, I realized, Denise, you're really very snotty about certain groups of people. Because all people really does mean all people, even if okay, this is Denise now talking, not
Right.
what I'm committed to, even if they sound bad, even if they look bad, even if even if I have a snotty attitude about them, it really does call us forth. So I would say the same thing about humanity, distinguishing humanity. Like, where am I not recognizing humanity? Where am I being inhumane
Yeah.
in my daily life or in my thinking about issues? Where am I not supporting people who are doing the work that people on this call are doing, just tremendous work in recognizing and embracing the humanity of all people and what that means. And, I have it that I'm really not doing that much. And then I'm teaching a course at Tulane School of Social Work. And those students are working with people who are homeless, people who are struggling with mental illness, people who are struggling with depression, people who have struggling with trauma, suicide. They are just so amazing. These are all students at Tulane School of Social Work. The work they're doing is tremendous. So there's a multiplying effect. Maybe the work that we're doing is not direct, but by supporting others and training and developing others, we're multiplying the efforts out in the world.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It reminded me that when I lived in New Orleans, that Denise, I guess when she took on that project as a possibility, that she told me one day, she said, Valerie, what about if we listened to all people for their greatness? We listened to the prisoners, not for them going to jail or for what they did, but for their greatness. And that shifted my listening of all people. And after that, not long after that, I went to a meeting in New Orleans, and they had some people at a conference table, and one of the ladies had a really extremely thick plait. It was rolled up on her head like a snake, and she had these big old earrings with all different colors. And so my first thing was like, whoa, that looked like a snake on her head. So I said, I remember what Denise said, and I stepped back before I went into that room. And I said, if I listen to this woman for her greatness, I said, she's an artist, and to her, that's fabulous. And I went in with a different listening, and that lady was running a nonprofit. I wouldn't have heard her. I would have been staring at her hair and make. So if we take on not having judgment, and as Denise said, this is some of landmark language, and listen to ourselves, the possibility of being humble and loving and understanding for all people, that's what we use to shift the world, because we're not judging. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. I just wanted to share that. So Irma, I know you're not feeling well. Do you wanna talk or about your humanity, or do you want to just listen today?
No, I can say a couple of things. I'm inspired by what I've heard. One of the things when I listen to the term Ubuntu, it reminds me of the work I do all the time. Currently, I'm working in 2 countries, in Syria and South Sudan. And one of the things is working with the national government and UN agencies to make changes that need to happen. And what's unique, given the concept that we have today, is there's a lot of emphasis on community engagement. In the past, when one was working in the Global South, the UN agencies, international NGOs, they had good heart, they had good intent. They go in and tell people, we came to help you, and then proceed to do what they wanted to do. And now what I'm seeing is a much more willingness to say that when you're helping people, they have to be part of the solution. You cannot do it on their behalf alone. So you need to talk to people who also have ideas on how to solve problems, as we're hearing in today's conversation, who have a perspective on their life. They understand their context. They know what is real, what is possible, what is not. And I think that shift is making a real difference, I think, in our ability to, quote, help, because we're helping in the way that the community or the village wants to be helped. And we're accepting that they have solutions to the problems. They've been living it, so they know it even better. So when I was hearing you talk, I'm sitting here going, wow, okay, we're finally getting it right for a change. And I'm working in Syria, who dealing with a group of people who on their day-to-day, they're just trying to maintain as they listen to what's happening now, that there's a bombing and so forth. So their geopolitical situation is desperate, but they still want to make change for their children. And one of the things I think I've seen is when you talk to people around their children, they are willing to do things they wouldn't do for themselves because they want a better life for their children. So listening to you talk, Connie, about what you're doing with the veterans, and when you talk about your son, it's like, yeah, that makes sense. People can relate to that when sometimes we're using words that are very intellectual, they sound pretty, but they don't touch the heart. And at the end of the day, it's when you talk about the village and you talk about the community, you're getting to the heart of the matter of what is the thing when all is said and done, the agencies leave, the things done, what they will do for themselves. So even when Maureen was talking about the people under the bridges, my family lives in Las Vegas, so I'm very interested.
Oh,
I'm here
yeah.
in Las Vegas as you're talking, going, oh, okay.
Oh, there is so much need, but there's so many good things.
Right. But what strikes me is my life has been outside the country working in the global South. And I have to tell you, coming back to the United States and seeing what's happening here, in the past, you would say it's always over there, but it's here.
No, it's here. It is
And
here.
it's as
Yes,
bad, if not
yes.
worse, because we know better.
Mhm.
We could do more. And that's the part I think for me that's been a shock. When I came into the Las Vegas airport, I was in the immigration side. I went to the bathroom, I closed the stall door, and I see announcements around sex trafficking in
Yep.
English, French,
Yep.
Chinese, and what was the other? Spanish, on what
Mhm.
number people could call.
Yeah.
And I'm not even in the airport. I'm in the part where you're out there still getting your passport through. And I'm saying, what has happened? Only to find out that this is one of the meccas for sex.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Wow.
So that's what I mean when I said, when you're outside the country, you see one thing. When you come back in the country, it's kind of like, what?
Yeah.
What happened?
And if you go one block off the strip, or you go down
Yes.
to the old Fremont Street and you go one
Yes.
block off, they are lined up for
Yeah.
blocks and blocks and blocks, tents, and then the group I met with just found out about. It's called Shine the Light, and there's 600 miles of tunnels and waterways and things like that, and there's a group there that literally goes in, and they start to gain the confidence and of the people. You can't force someone to come out if they don't want to, but
Right.
little by little, this is what they do. They engage them and they find out, give them some food, and then eventually, but it's amazing the number of people that they have housed. And then, but that person has to want it, but then they have to trust the care worker that is there, the outreach person, enough to maybe start with, okay, getting a post office box so they can get a social security card or some benefits and things. It's a very slow process, but I guess it just touched my heart that, that this is going on. So that's something I want to get more involved with out there. Yeah, but
And you have the vets, like Connie was
yeah,
talking about in Florida. This is a
yeah,
big military base out here. So
yep.
I think there's 3 of them in the state.
And
So the
they have a
population
high
of
number of
veterans.
homeless veterans in Las Vegas too, with all the things. And, so that's what I'm actually going to be working on, because you look at all the, it's now become the center of not so much celebrity, but it's a sports celebrity, all the sports team. Now, the woman that is president of the Raiders has taken an active role in the trafficking. So, that's somebody I want to reach out to if we do something on that topic, to get the people that are already doing things there and then bringing more people into it. But there's such a connection between trafficking and homelessness because those are some of the people that are approached. So it's really, talk about interconnected.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming. But if we don't do something, then, there's something we can all do to help.
I think the thing that struck me is I work with governments all the time in ministries of trying to work. But what has been fascinating is listening to you talk, because it's when people in communities step out, like you, Connie, the others on this call, and you get involved, things really begin to change. A government can only go so far.
Right. And they've got other things to deal with. And unless somebody that they know brings it to their attention or there's a crisis, you're just kind of going on deaf ears. So, what I'm doing is looking at all the foundations, all the nonprofits that are addressing these things already. And then, some of them I could bring back here to Erie as well, too, because, I kind of straddle both worlds. I have a daughter, a son, and a grandson, a brother in Vegas. And then I have, my son and grandkids here. So I'm kind of straddling both. But there's a lot that's going on out there. So maybe at another time we could talk. I could find out about your family, or if you ever get out there, we could maybe coordinate something. And there's some model programs here in Erie. They've been trying for years and years to do something with having housing and sheltering youth under the age of 18, because the way the law is in Pennsylvania, the minute you find a youth that's homeless, you have to call OCY. They have to go back to their parents, the abusive situation, the abusive foster. So these kiddos have learned to stay under the radar. Well, out in Las Vegas, they spent all their time changing the law and the legislation. So now if they are at this particular shelter, that shelter has an arrangement that they do not have to contact the parents. They're keeping them safe. They're keeping them in school. They're finding out what their needs are. To me, that is a major model that could be, shared in a lot of places. So they directed theirs on changing the legislation rather than like in Erie. I had to step away from it because they kept spinning and spinning the same old thing and just kept saying, oh, we can't. And I just can't be around. I can't be around that. So, but anyhow, I wish I was 40 years younger. That's all I could say. There's just so much.
Yeah. Well, after the overthrow of Ceausescu, he demanded every woman have 5 children because he was trying to build an army. So he got rid of everything, contraception, everything. And so what happened is like 60,000 children put in orphanages. Well, after overthrow, lots of those kids left. Some of them ran away. They didn't have enough foster homes. So when my son and I found out what was happening to them, they were living in the underground sewers of Bucharest. And so we had a backpack care pack project, and we took hundreds of supplies over there into the sewers. And it was a documentary and won first place in the Global Film Festival. Global Film.
Wow.
But here, when I was working with Camp Ohana, helping kids that were in foster care who had not seen their brothers and sisters for 2 or 3 years, because they're all in, like older kids are in group homes. Some of the younger ones, they're split up. Well, we had the camp, and some kids hadn't seen their relatives over 2 years, and it was Christmas time. And some of these kids, the older ones, they knew that they were going to be leaving and had no place to go. And you get free education in Florida if you've been in foster care. Only 3% get it. So what do? It's either the streets or Dollar General or military. So anyway, they that was very moving to find what was going on. And I found out people just didn't care. So that's why it evolved to working now with veterans, because people feel a certain amount of, with foster care, they're all hidden, but they can see the
Yes.
great when you see that their whole entire wings of jails just for veterans.
Wow.
The
Oh, my goodness.
taxes to incarcerate them rather than just having a place they can call home with others who understand. That's real important to me, and that's why I think that once it takes off, we already have commitment by one person that's going to build 3 more green vistas. Once we get the prototype, all the kinks out, we can't just take anyone. They have to be, we got to make sure they're not going to be harmful to themselves or others. They can get their rental voucher from the VA. We're going to get it for them, and that will help pay for things. So we got to work out all those things, which we're working on. But greenvistas.org, we're going to make it happen. And biggest problem for me is technology. I'm not techie, but if so, we want to have these young. I went to school at Loyola next to Tulane. We need some of those smart kids helping with
Right,
the
that could be their project.
Yeah.
perfect.
That's great. Yeah.
Connie,
thank you.
your concept of having them kind of live within a neighborhood is so important because, we have, men and women in our shelter here, they don't want to leave. And we may be able to get them apartments, and they would not do well in that isolation of their own apartment. So they really need to be in a setting where they're with other people, but you could have a push in the services that they need, but they need that socialization and that security. We can't get the people to move out of the shelter. And then the one person did, and we found out that they relapsed. So this whole thing that comes down from HUD with this housing first, get them into an apartment, get them into something. It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Without the support services and the camaraderie of other people around them.
Partnered with the best equine program in the country, and that's free to all veterans and their families. And we'll have that other services. That is a wonderful program. We're going to have art. We're going to have we know how to. We're going to have what they need, and we're going to replicate it. But I'm running out of time. I'm not a spring chicken, so.
Got it. Okay, thank you. Joanne, what about you? You have any input on this word, on Ubuntu?
Yes, I want to, I really like, what you wrote, Connie. I thought it was really great. And, I've worked hard at taking some of the best of it out to put in the card that I'm going to send to everybody that's on this call. And there's one statement. I mean, it's your final statement in everything that you wrote that I think is just absolutely really, really, really good. That meant a lot to me. And I want to read that now. It says Green Vistas Veterans Village embodies the spirit of Ubuntu by recognizing we are all interconnected. Each person, each person's well-being is tied to the well-being of the community. Ubuntu is about creating a compassionate society, and in which members not only survive, but also thrive. I just thought that was great. That meant a lot to me, and to read that, and I was trying to print it out this morning, and it wasn't, things weren't working right on my computer. As you can see, I'm not visible, but pardon?
Yeah.
You're doing great, and your
you.
call me this week was your call was so wonderful, and I appreciate it. Everything that you cards, all of that is just amazing. You are incredible.
Thank
So
you, thank you. Thank you for saying that. I just want to say, because I was looking at and listening to everybody today, I'm changing a lot of things in my life right now, and changing my life a lot because some of you may know, may not, that I was in the hospital and then a recovery center for 2 months, and then came home and still had to recover, and I'm just now beginning to get back into things, but I'm changing my life. I've looked at what I was doing and want to do, and I'm changing my life. And I am 80 years old, getting close to 81. My husband is 89. And, I'm just looking at our lives, and we're still active. We're still going. And what is it that keeps us going? And what keeps people going and thriving and loving being alive? Everybody on this call loves being alive. You're on this call because you're doing things and helping others get how great it is to be alive on planet Earth, and to be thriving in one way or another, to be able to do your thing. And I love sending out cards. I'm glad I found cards send out cards. It's actually called something else now. One of my problems with my age is that I have a memory problem, and I get ready to say something, and then all of a sudden it doesn't come to mind. But anyway, I think this call today has been one of the best we've had, maybe ever, certainly the best in a long time, for me anyway, because everyone has just joined in what everyone's saying and just talked, and it's been really interchangeable and really, really good, and people responding to each other. And I thank you all for what you're doing, everything you're doing. You're doing so much good work in the world. You're making such a difference, and I thank you for it. And when my time comes to say goodbye, to this planet, I know that I will have been a part of a group that has really made the planet work in many good ways. So that's what I want to say. Thank you all very much. Call has been great today. I'm glad I got on it. Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for acknowledging that part of the article too.
Sure.
It does tie into everyone on this call, and I'm so
Yes.
proud to be a part of your lives. So Dr. Watts just joined us. Hi, Dr. Watts.
Hi, Miss Because. I'm sorry for my lateness, but I've been very sick all week. But I am thankful to God. Yes, and I won't talk long because I start a coughing spell when I talk too much.
Yeah.
But just hearing Miss Roderman talk, it touched my heart because I feel the same way she does. Being a part of PWIC is a gift from God because I'm connected with so many beautiful women and so many, I guess, faithful causes that are changing the world. So that's all I'm going to say. I don't know what the question was, but I'm just going to go off of Miss Joanne Roderman because I feel grateful as well. And just hearing her voice just lifted my spirits. So
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
So, Marion, two things. Will you, for the sake of Dr. Watts, tell her about the word and what it means, what we're
Yes.
talking about, and then will you give, your share of the word?
Sure. Basically, Ubuntu is derived from the Nguni Bantu language, excuse me, and is often translated as humanity. It's a philosophy and an ethical concept that promotes the idea of interconnectedness and the belief that the well-being of an individual is dependent on the well-being of the community. And
can I say something?
yeah. Oh, go ahead, Connie.
If you saw the picture of the young man crying, and in that community, when someone does something wrong, instead of condemning them, they start telling him all the things he's done that's good, and that is his true spirit, instead of making him feel cast out. They make him feel a part of the group. What a beautiful concept.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank you for that.
very
I
much so.
liked how Valerie mentioned, you know, a lot of times we try not to be judgmental, but if there is someone that we're dealing with who, like Valerie said, was wearing a different kind of hat, and you kind of were like, I feel as though we need to not just see each other as human beings. We need to look at each other as divine beings. You know, we not only need to communicate to understand each other, but we need to have just a little bit of psychology background, because a lot of the homeless that we're dealing with are from different walks of life. Okay, fine, the veterans are one group, and you know what I'm saying. But you know, I just appreciate the fact that we are all humble, we are all loving, we are all understanding, and that we recognize that we can't do it on our own. Let's take Lorelei as an example, building her village. It took her 5 weeks, and no, she didn't do it by herself. There was no way she could do it by herself. Your ego will tell you, I can do this, in parentheses, by myself. And the answer is, no, you can't, a lot of times, okay? And with Ubuntu, the whole point is, you know, you are important as a divine being yourself, but guess what? Without the support of your community, and it doesn't have to be people that live next door, it's us across the globe who God has called. In my opinion, we are chosen to be humanitarians and to make the world a better place. And Connie's word, Ubuntu, exemplifies this to the nth degree. And we're all interconnected, and we all need to be thinking, okay, the person I'm dealing with today is a divine being. They're not just a veteran who happened to come home and not have a place to go. No, this is a divine being who can serve the Lord, who divinely can be intervened to get them the help that we need. And in my opinion, everything we do is divine, because otherwise we'd just be living life and forgetting about everybody else and just living in the ego.
Amen.
Ah, thank you.
Yes, thank
So
you.
did you get a gist of what we're talking about, Dr. Watts?
Absolutely. And I strongly agree with everything that has been said. And this has been my mantra. And I've been on kind of a journey where I am reevaluating what my community looks like. Because of my health challenges, the past 10 years, I've really seen, you know, who people really are. And what I know is that you cannot do it all by yourself. And if the closest people around you can't be a part of your community to help make you a better human being, then you have to reevaluate those people and put other people in there. And God places people in our lives, like our PWIC family, you know, to help make us better human beings. I definitely feel like I've been a better human being after joining with this organization, you know, because it has exposed me to women that are doing things around the world, you know, and before my community was a lot smaller. So yeah, I get the gist of it, and I totally agree with it 1,000%. You know, we have to make sure that our village, which is what I'm looking at, is strong, is built strongly, and that we keep nurturing the people in our village to make, because that's what's going to make the community strong, when we touch each other. So I hope I answered the question. I hope I don't sound crazy.
No, you don't sound crazy.
Okay.
Don't sound crazy at all. And I wanted to say for Dr. Watts that you didn't hear, we are starting to do our live events again after COVID, and have each one of the events is going to be focused on one of the 5 areas that we are working with the United Nations. So we're doing San Francisco, July 26th, which is Dr. Honeycutt's birthday. So we'll be celebrating that too. We're doing education. And Las Vegas, before the end of the year, we are going to do either human trafficking or homelessness. So just let me
Okay.
know as soon as you can, Maureen, with that. And New Orleans
I have
recidivism.
I have a question. I am working with an organization and we're doing a really big 3-day event in South Carolina at Myrtle Beach, September, I think 13th to 15th. And I know, don't we have some ladies in our organization that work with domestic violence?
Yes, we do.
Okay. So that is something I would like to make sure and connect with those women because this is
Okay.
really big. The person that I'm working with, he's like excellent at raising money. He's going to have a golf event on one day. Then we're going to have workshops and different things on the other 2 days. So
Okay.
I just wanted to throw that out there, just in case. And I will be in LA in June. So we're not having anything in LA, right?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Well, and where is the list for the live events? Is it on our website or can you send us an email?
Yeah, I'm gonna send it out.
Okay.
We're still working on the website.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
yeah, we're gonna send out the whole list of all the events once we get firm dates. So yeah.
Valerie, is it possible to have people's names, their contact information, and then just kind of a general heading of what subject area, what their area of expertise or interest
Yes.
is?
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah, that
really,
would be
really
helpful.
helpful.
Yeah.
That'd be very helpful.
Yeah.
I think the more we're talking, the more we want to connect with people, but
Yes.
that'd be great to have some kind of a list that we could look at with.
Yeah, we had one on the old website, but we're no longer using that program. And while we're building a new website, it'll be on, but we do have a list. So
That'd be
Yeah.
great.
I have a
yeah, we have
spreadsheet.
quite a few members that are doing a lot that I talk to that's involved. A lot of them involved in the New Orleans project that doesn't, that you haven't met yet. So at some point we are doing a conference market. I'll give you the date, but I know it's the towards the end of next year in New Orleans. So anyway. So I wanted to thank everyone and just acknowledge that Robin is on the call too. She's in New Orleans. She's worked on our global team and she's working with our project too in New Orleans as well. That's where she is. So, and Robin's been with us for the inception of PWIC so forever. And she also write with Marion as health, do the articles on health for our newsletter. She's a physical fitness trainer.
Mm.
So I don't think she can talk right now, but she is listening.
Awesome.
So anyway, this has been a really great call. I am just so pleased of the work that everyone is doing. And I hope that you got things off of this call to further what you're doing in your life. So does anyone want to have any input or want to say anything before we leave the call?
I just want to say thank you to everybody. Your comments really encourage me. It's kind of a lonely battle when you are trying in an area that is not. They just got so many things going on, and we aren't used to going out and doing things. But I feel like you all inspire me to network more, and I'm definitely going to try the Rotary program and also connect with some other people. And the technology part, that is definitely something that I feel I could learn a lot from other people. So if you have someone that has that would like to help with that, let me know.
Can I ask a question? Because technology is my wheelhouse, my space. What were you looking for with respect to technology?
Well, on my website, things that I have on the website, like connecting, and I want to get the Microsoft for nonprofit. There's some like I have I need to start working on blogging and other things, but I'm working on so many other things. So I would like to, first of all, if I could find an executive director that would volunteer, that would be great. Kidding.
Yes, I think we all could use a volunteer ET. Absolutely.
So, but we do what we do, the best we can, right?
It's absolutely.
Yes.
It's my burning passion. This is something that I want to be going on for long, long, long after I am off this
That's the
particular
objective.
life.
Yep, that's the
Mhm.
objective. Well,
And I
you
think all
can,
of us feel that way, right? Right?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank everybody.
Yes.
Mary, I wanted to know if you could do the honor. So first, does anyone else have any input or anything you want to say before we close the call? Okay, great. Mary, could you do a quick prayer and pray us out?
Sure, absolutely. So, Heavenly Father, thank you so much for bringing all these wonderful souls and their good hearts together for another meeting of the minds and the good works that everybody does. Thank you for allowing us to have the opportunity to share with each other and to grow from knowing each other and to do everything in your name and to feel blessed while doing it. So thank you very much, and be with all of us, especially those who are not feeling so well right now, and take care of them so that we can continue doing the good works until next time. So thank you very much, and God bless everyone, and amen.
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 Thank
Amen.
you.
Amen. Thank
Yes.
you.
Okay, well, have a good rest of your Saturday and a
Thank you.
beautiful Sunday.
Thank you.
Amen.
Same to
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye,
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 everybody.
Maureen.
Bye.
Bye, Connie.
Bye
Bye,
bye.
Ernest.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Connie.